break
Well,
the whole verse down.
yeah, we're gonna break the whole verse down because you got to remember it says He created the firm land. Because remember we went over. Matter of fact, let me go back to the definition for earth. It says earth is H 776 of rest. It means to be firm. See, which says to be firm.
And what definition are you reading from?
I'm reading from the concordance. If you look at if you go,
Are you reading the definition? Okay, yeah, got you.
okay,
So I'm looking. The way this thing's set up. It has a strong definition, and then it has a VDB definition.
got you. So now
Like
He
that.
created the land or the earth, and it was firm by definition. It's firm.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2 says that the earth was without form and void. How can something be without? How can something be firm and be without form?
All right. Like once again, my philosophy. You take a rock. It particularly has no shape, right? A mountain. So we just use a mountain. It particularly has no shape. It's
Mountains have a shape.
hard. Well, everything has a shape, but it doesn't have a form. I said it. Because when you form something when you make it. So you take everything naturally. You get what I'm saying? So everything has to be made into something. Or is it, you know what I mean? Like I said, like
Mm-hmm.
a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
When they took Mount Rushmore, they had jagged rock until they formed it into the faces of the former forefather presidents. So
Which I
that's
agree with
where
you.
I'm getting.
I completely agree with you. But was there a form before they reformed it? You're talking about mountains.
Let's see
Mountains
what
already a form. It's not like I'm not talking like putty, because putty's not really even firm. But by definition, and again, we're just going by the definitions of the words. So it says in one, He created the heavens and the earth, and by definition, the earth is firm. It doesn't talk about water; it just talks about the heaven and the earth. And it says that.
but see,
Go ahead.
oh yeah, but the earth, like I said, you got to look at the contents of the earth
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, and I went ahead on in the lesson, and I looked up what deep was. I didn't know what it was. I was curious,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
water.
I said, it made huh?
Yeah, it's water.
Yeah, so it's water. But so what I like I said when I seen that, I'm like, okay, but like I said, so he said he created the heaven and the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know when we look at the definition of heaven, it was basically the foreseeable sky, the stars, the universe. You know what I mean? As far as our eyes can see, so to speak. Now, it didn't say that he created. I don't know if it's down up there right now, but at that point in time, it didn't say he put the stars there. But if you look up the definition, it tells you that's what it is. So that it consists of the heavens boom, as a whole. The earth consists of the trees, the waters, the mountains, the rocks, the volcano, whatever is here as a whole, it creates the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The earth. It was already there.
Now that last statement you made, I agree with. Earth was already here.
This was the last statement.
Yeah, you said the Earth was already here. Is what you said.
You know what I'm saying? When he made the earth, or when the earth as a whole, so to speak. It wasn't just like he made the earth and then he put the earth in. And we're gonna take a mountain. Now, he said that's a big thing. We just said we're gonna take a piece of gravel there's going to be so much content to make up that one piece of gravel outside of just rock. There's going to be some minerals in that thing. There's going to be some other elements of that thing. You know what I mean? It's just going to, like I said,
Yeah.
it's going to be a makeup of different things, but all in all, it's just a rock.
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So that's, but that's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just me.
Trust me, I'm with you, man. Trust me, I'm with you. So, again, so you're taking the context of the Earth being kind of like clay or putty, right?
So to speak, yeah.
Because you have to, because by definition, the Earth is firm. But something happened. Like the whole point of me asking this question is because something happened between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Because the Most High created the heaven and the earth. And then all of a sudden, because the earth is a firm thing, all of a sudden in Genesis 2, the earth is without form and void. Now, I understand you're saying he created it, everything that was going to be up in it was there. It just didn't, it wasn't molded into the image that the Most High wanted yet. I completely understand what you're saying. I get that. But
Okay.
as we keep going with definitions, let me know if you still keep that perspective. Okay. So let's
Yeah.
go. Okay. So the first one we're going to focus on is was. The word was, right? Now, this is a very interesting word in chapter, or excuse me, verse 2. It's H 1961, and it's Hayah. It means to be, to become, come to pass, exist, happen, fall out, to happen, fall out, occur, take place, come about, come to pass, to come about, come to pass. Okay, that was weird. Can you still hear, Bam?
Did everybody get kicked out or just me?
Yeah, it was just you. I just, yeah, maybe two. Okay. So again, we're focusing on the word was. Is in
Mm-hmm.
verse 2, it's H 1961. It's Hayah. It means to be, become, come to pass, exist, happen, fall out, to happen, fall out, occur, take place, come about, come to pass, etc. So the earth was could actually be um, it became without form and void. And as we go through these definitions, you'll see why I'm saying this. And an interesting thing about this word hayat. So even like the Native Americans, because a lot of people don't know, some of the Native Americans were actually of Hebrew stock. Not all of them, like a lot of the camps try to say, and this and that, which I don't think that actually means every Native American. But even if you go back to the concordance for the name of the Most High, it's literally going to bring you back to the word hayat. It's really crazy. But I just wanted to let you know that. Okay. So now we're going to focus on, so when the earth was or became without form uh, and void. So if we keep going on with this narrative, let's focus on the Strong's definition for this, right? So if I click on this, was, and then it'll bring me down to the origin of the word, right? So the origin of the word is, like I was talking about, H 1933, hava. It means to fall, to be, become, exist. But the original definition of the word means to fall. So between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, the earth failed to become without form and void. Now, I know you got a concordance on there. So can you click on that to make sure that I'm not making this up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
You see what I'm saying? It says, A, the first definition of it is to fall. So something happened between Genesis 1 and 2 to make the earth without form and void. And you'll later on you'll end up seeing it. So I'm gonna keep reading the definitions to exist. That is, be or become, to pass, always, emphatic, and not a mere copopular or auxiliary, beacon altogether, come, accomplish, committed, like break, come to pass, continue, faint, do, faint, fall, follow, happen, have last pertained quit, to fall, to be, become, exist, happen. But the first definition of the original word that's there is to fall. So something happened between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 that made the earth fall to become without void, without form and void. And we're going to keep going because these definitions are going to tell a different story than we have
Yeah.
been taught in, modern day Christianity and whatnot. Because they tell us to read things without actually getting into, like, man, we talk about this all the time, the definitions of the word.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
words in there. And so, we're big on that.
So,
Go ahead.
can I interject for a second?
Yes.
Like, not to confuse.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, like you said, it's in the concordance. But
Mm-hmm.
like the Most High name is like Yahweh or Hayah.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Hebrew language,
Mm-hmm.
that H, um, some of those letters, I'm not going to just say the H per se, but a lot of those letters are used. They have different meanings. Like it might be an A, but that A might mean something different in this aspect, or
Yeah.
that H might mean.
According to the context. I'm tracking. Yeah, I'm tracking. I'm just saying it was just interesting that if you go back to the concordance, the same word that the concordances were used for the name of the Most High is the same word that's used to was there. That's the only reason I brought that up. It was just interesting to me once I saw that. I was like, oh, that's the name of the Most High, actually, according to these
Well, yeah,
concordances.
but that's why I was. That's why I said I want to learn the language because things, like words and certain adjectives.
Hey, can you
Those
talk into the mic? Because you keep cutting out.
like
I don't know what is going on. Hello? Bam, like, I don't know what's going on with your connection, bro, but I can't hear nothing. You're saying, yeah, I see you, but I just can't hear you, man. Are you talking now? How's my connection and straight when I got full bars? That's crazy. Yeah, I got full bars. Wow.
Hello?
Yeah, man, I don't, yeah, because now I can hear you, but you kept cutting out to the point to where it literally, I couldn't hear what you were saying. I don't know about June, but I know I couldn't hear you. Could you hear him, June? Okay, I don't know what he's saying. Okay. So go back to what you were saying, Dan. Just to recap. Damn. Damn. Freedom. Damn. I can hear you moving, but I can't necessarily hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. So that you're the connection problem. It may be where you're at in your house. It looks like you got full bars though. I don't understand why whenever you talk, you keep cutting out.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly fine now, man. I don't know what's going on when you start
Huh?
talking. But I can hear you. Okay, so now what were you saying, Bam?
No, you can hear me?
Yeah.
But now I was just saying that like I said, the depending on the placement of the depending on their word, like some of those words have similar meanings. Letters. So like you said, we're just gonna use Hayah. I mean Hava, like Hava, it's the name of the Most High in the Hebrew language. But it's also and like you said, the name of
Well, you keep cutting out. Man. I don't know if you got bad reception where you're at in your house or what.
that's why I forget that mean what it's saying. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay. So we're still on Genesis 10. I'm gonna go back. Let me go back. Okay, so again, about Haya means to become or to fall. And we know that in verse 2 it says that, well, in verse 1 it says that Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And by definition, the earth needs to be firm. But in verse 2, something happens to make the earth fall and to become without form and void, without firmness. So let's see what the next definition. Let's see what without form means. So, June, do you have the concordance or no? Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so without form is H8414. It's tohu. It means, of course, formless, confusion, unreality, emptiness. Formlessness of primal earth, nothingness, empty space, that which is empty or unreal, of idols, figuratively, a wasteland, a wilderness, of solitary places, a place of chaos, vanity. Strong's definition meaning to lie waste, a desolation of surface, that is desert, figuratively a worthless thing, in vain, adverbially in vain, confusion, empty place, without form, nothing, thing of not, vain, vanity, wasteland, wilderness. So now what we know about the Most High, does he create anything in vain?
No.
Okay. Is the Most High in anything that is confusing?
Not at all.
He definitely doesn't create confusion. And it says that it was a place of chaos. The Most High, he's an Elohim of order. It talks about how it was empty or unreal. It was a place of idols. So it says of idols. Now, it's a commandment that we're not to serve any Elohim but the Most High. So there's no way the Most High is going to create a place full of idols. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That the earth wasn't necessarily created, but it was a recreation or a giving of order. Because in verse 1, the Most High creates the heaven and the earth. In verse 2, it's without form and void, a place of idols, a wasteland, a place of chaos, a desert, a place of confusion, and it's void. We're going to see what void means. Well, firstly, let me go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. Elohim is not the author of confusion, but of peace.
You know what? That's interesting
What's that saying?
because I don't know. This is interesting. I'm not saying that has nothing to do with this, but it just, like I said, it's interesting.
Okay, yeah. Say that for me one more time so I can make sure I'm hearing you right.
So, no, so I was in the book of Enoch and how the Most High was telling, I think he was telling one of the angels to tell the rest of the angels, basically, like I said, I'm paraphrasing that, he was going to rid the world of the wrongdoing that the angels came down and they was messing with the women and teaching them witchcrafts and all that. And so I'm just saying, like, I know he was going to rid them of all that, and he was going to rid the world of all that.
Oh,
So,
and I completely agree with that because again, like 1 Corinthians 14:33, for Elohim is not the author of confusion, but of peace, and then all the assemblies of the saints. When you go back to think about the book of Enoch, or even in early Genesis, even if you go back to different cultures and histories, there are certain I'll say I don't want to say fossils, but there's been certain discoveries that have been found to where they were 30, 40,000 years ago. So, generally speaking, we try to base everything that, everything was created like 6,000, 7,000 years ago. But to be honest, it could have been a lot longer. Because it could have been 6,000, 7,000 years in creation alone. And we know that the Most High, he has a host of angels, or which are lesser Elohims. So in the creation process, the Most High, more than likely, especially if you read Enoch or the Book of Jubilees, it talks about there's a class of angels called watchers that were sent here, and like the Most High, he's not the one physically always doing the creating. He gives marching orders, and then the messengers of the other angels, they would do the creating for him, but it's still him doing it. But he's giving the orders for him because he always reigns from his throne. And when I started thinking about that, that made more sense. And we know that in Genesis, that the angels, they fell. Even then, they were what, sleeping with the women. According to the book of Enoch, they were actually sleeping with the animals as well. I mean, there was probably men that were sleeping with as well, or whatever. And if you go back to that definition of without form, it's a place of idols. So we know that Lucifer, or whatever that being is, high Satan, whatever, wanted to be worshipped himself, so he became an idol. You see what I mean? That's why I don't. After reading the definitions, I don't believe that the earth was literally being created then. I believe it was a recreation. As we keep going, you'll see why. The next one. Come on. Void is H922. It's Bohu. Tohu and Bohu. Emptiness, void, waste. Again, so the Most High created the earth, but he created it as a waste. It says means to be empty. That kind of leans towards your perspective when you talked about how he just hadn't formed it the way he wanted to. But it says a vacuity that is superficially an undistinguishable ruin, emptiness. So do you believe that the Most High created the earth as an undistinguishable ruin? Read them.
Oh no! See, this. Oh no! Because what I'm trying to see. So these definitions, right?
Right.
These are not just one definition. Like, these are multiple definitions of that word. Correct?
Yeah, because emptiness, void, waste is the BDV definition, and the Strong's definition calls it an undistinguishable ruin. emptiness, void.
How you say that word? Varsity? Vacuity?
Vacuity is what I just said. Yeah, vacuity.
Vacuity.
Because the reason why I say there's something major to happen, because in that definition, when they talked about that form, when it said place of idols, a place of chaos, place of confusion, we know the Most High is not the author of confusion. Something happened between verse 1 and verse 2 to where the Most High, or the earth became without form and void. It became an undistinguishable ruin. In other words, it was destroyed. The way the definition is destroyed, it's like the Most High destroyed it. But I don't even know any other way to put it. And we have to do a little.
You got to mute June again because it's echo.
So what I'm saying is, between the Most High creating the heaven and the earth in verse 2, because in verse 2 it became a place, it became a wasteland, a wilderness, a place without form and void, a place of confusion, a place filled with idols. All those things are things the Most High hates. So what I'm saying is, between verse 1 and verse 2, a destruction happened. And as we keep going through the definitions, you'll see why I say that. So let's keep going with the definitions real quick.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Sorry, bro. These people keep texting me.
Oh yeah, I know where that goes.
I'm calling, bro. They like, bro, my phone. Ain't nobody called me that much into like in 3-4 days. But no. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so the definition now, like you said, God is not the author of confusion. You know,
Right.
he's the Elohim of order.
Right.
But I'm that's why I think is like I don't know. I'll just go along with we'll go on with the lesson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's read the definitions, because this next one, so the next one is darkness, right? So darkness is H2822. I know you got the concordance.
Yeah, yeah.
Darkness, obscurity, darkness, secret place. The Strong's definition says, literally darkness, figuratively misery, destruction, death, ignorance, sorrow, wickedness, night, obscurity. So between 1 and verse 2, it became a place of chaos, a place of idols, a place of confusion, a place of misery, a place of destruction, a place of death. Because there was a reason why, if you keep going in it says, darkness or death was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of Elohim or Yahushua moved upon the face of the waters. That had to happen because the earth fell into this chaos. The Most High, when He created it, it wasn't chaos. But something happened, because we know, like we were told that, in Christianity, that the fallen ones only fell that one time. They've been falling from the beginning. They're still falling even now. Because even in the book of Enoch, it talks about those 200 that fell. There were some that fell after that. Because how would giants still be in the land in Genesis when the Israelites are trying to take the land of Canaan? Because giants or angels were still procreating with man. That's why there's people in the book that don't have a lineage from Adam. Because this fall has been a continuous fall. And the earth became a byproduct of it. Because we know the Most High, He's not scared to destroy the earth with water. And before man, there's no telling what the Most High was probably willing to destroy the earth with, since man wasn't there. That's the only reason why I say it, because going by the definitions, because that word choshet literally means it became a place of destruction and death. So what's your take on that?
But like I said, like it's the same because like even though, like I said, all these definitions in there, but one of the definitions is night. You know what I mean? It's just so what I'm like I said, we got to go deeper into the because what I'm seeing is, like I said, like it's multiple definitions. And what happened was the English translation wasn't accurate. So what they did was they compromised. Okay, that word form. We're going. So we know form is this. Boom. We know form is this. Boom. Instead of putting the accurate definition where it's supposed to be punched in, at, they just gave us all the definitions and like plug and play. You know what I mean? So that's where. But like I said, you know what I mean? But I'm following along with you, like I said, because it's making sense. All these definitions. Like I said, if you line them up, boom, 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 it is making sense. But I'm not, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, so we're going to have to figure out, I mean, not we, but we got to continue to go deeper and deeper. But I get what you're saying, though. It's making a lot of sense.
You see. Oh,
no,
man.
bro, I'm saying I see where you're getting at too. Like I said, it's making sense, and it's making perfectly good sense.
No, but what you're saying is making sense too, because like you said, if you go back to the origin of the word, it means dark, dim, light. But we also got to bring things back into a Hebraic perspective or Eastern thought perspective. So if the law is the light or life, right? What would be the opposite of life or light?
Death.
So now we're going to the next word, deep. Deep is H8415 Tehom. Of course, it means deep, depth, deep places, abyss, the deep sea, deep of subterranean waters, deep sea abyss, ocean, deep depths, abyss, the grave. The deep means the grave.
You said what, bro? Your phone cut out.
Oh yeah, it just did that. Okay, so deep, H8415. It means depths, water, sea, deep, the abyss, but it also means the grave. So it says the darkness was on the face of the deep. So death or the grave was on the face of the waters. It literally says death was on it. There's a reason why the Most High had to put His Spirit out, why His Spirit had to go on the face of the waters. It says the darkness. Let me go back to it. Darkness and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters, because the Most High is life. That's why His life had to move across the base, because it became a place of death. And we'll keep going, because I don't want to keep saying that without us getting an understanding of it. So now let's go over spirit. Spirit is H7307. It's Ruach, wind, breath, mind, spirit, breath, wind of heaven, portal, wind, breath, air, gas, vein, everything. From wind, I'm just going to try to sensible or even violent exhalation, figuratively, life, anger, unsubstantiality, like extension region of the sky. It says a whirlwind. So like a whirlwind had to come upon the face of the grave, of death, of darkness, of the chaos, to bring order to it. So let's go to Job 37. Job 37. And I'm going to read verses 1 through 9.
How do I do this? Hold on. There you go. Hold on, brother.
Okay.
Job, what chapter again?
37.
37, 1 through 9. All right. I'm ready.
Okay. It says, at this also my heart trembleth, and is moved out of his place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice. and the sound that goeth out of his mouth. He directeth it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. After it a voice roareth, he thundereth with the voice of his excellency. He will not stay them when his voice is heard. Elohim thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he, which we cannot comprehend. For he saith to the snow, Be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Then the beasts go into the dens and remain in their places. Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, the spirit of Elohim, and cold out of the north. By the breath of Elohim, frost is given, and the breath of the waters is straightened. So it was basically just to get to verse 9, showing you that the spirit of Elohim is the whirlwind. So in verse 2, it says that the spirit of Elohim went on the face of the deep. That was the whirlwind of Elohim, or whatever you want to call it, the breath of Elohim coming up, because it was chaos. It was a place of chaos, confusion, place of idols, a wasteland, a desolation, and then even the deep was the abyss of the grave. So those the definitions will tell it complete, because there's two different types of waters there as well. If we go back, this will let me go back to Genesis 1. So the deep, when you think deep, you think the waters, right? But there's actually another word for water, which is H4325, waters, right? It's water, waters, urine, danger, violence, transitory things, refreshment. Dual of a primitive noun, water, figuratively, by euphemism, urine, piss, wasting water, course, a flood, a spring. So what I'm saying is, because we know the Most High destroyed the earth with a flood in the days of Noah. The Most High Spirit, or the whirlwind, had to come up on the face of the deep, the grave, to bring order out of the chaos, for lack of a better term. So it was almost like the Most High had to flood the deep because of all the death and destruction and chaos and idols. In other words, he had to do a reset prior to the one in what is that, in, I forget what chapter that is in Genesis 8, 7, what, 8 or 9, for Noah and his family. That's what I'm saying, because water and deep, they're actually not the same. And they're doing a really good teaching on this in Hebrew Nation building right now. They have the Marine Kingdom, that's all I'm gonna say. But that's something completely different right now. But as we keep going, so all that happened. So now we're to verse 3. And Elohim said, Let there be light, and there was light. 4 and 5. And Elohim saw the light that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. The evening and the morning were the first day. So let's, we're doing definitions, so let's get in here. So light is H216. It's just O-R, light of day, light of heavenly luminaries, moon, sun, stars, break dawn, morning, lightning, light of the lamp, which we know that's the law. The law is a lamp to your feet. It's a light of life, light of prosperity, light of instruction, the Torah, light of faith. Yahuwah it as Yasharel's light. So we see in verse 3, the Most High created light. We can all agree on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll keep going. Good is the word tov, H2895. It means good, to be good. Basically, nothing really different in that definition. It means pretty much what it says, good. Good means good there. So day one recap. Heaven is made. Heaven and earth is made. Earth was made firm, but lost its form and became an undistinguishable ruin of idols. Light and darkness are divided. The light is told or good. That's a quick recap. Let's keep going.
You said what?
I said light is told or good. The word for good means, the word good in Hebrew is told, T-O-B.
Oh,
And or is light, O-R. So the word we use for or is light in Hebrew. So now we're on verses 6 through 8. Can you, one of y'all read verses 6 through 8?
I got it because June on mute.
Okay. Well, I can hear myself if he wants to read it. You want to read it, Jim?
He shook his head, yeah. He on mute.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to participants. Let me mute myself.
And where you want me to read?
6 and 8.
All right. Hold on. There we go. And God said, let there be a waters from the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the evening and morning were the second day. Evening and the morning were the second day.
Okay, now, Bam. Now, you remember how earlier I just said that there was a difference between the deep and the mayim of waters, right? Read it. Bam. Bam. Did he mute himself? Is he here? Bam.
Bro,
Bam.
my bad, John.
You good? You good?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you good. You good. Okay, so we read. Did you hear what we read earlier or no?
Yeah, I read everything. Somebody keep calling me, bro. But yeah. Hold on, let me go open this door. Y'all go open the door. Golly, bro. I'm back, man.
Okay.
So, yes. So, I was there when he read 6 and 7, 8.
Okay, so there's a firmament in the midst of the waters, and later divide the waters from the waters. So that's why I made sure I went over the deep, which is the abyss, and the mayim, which is waters, because there's a distinction between those, right? And the waters, because there's waters that are actually above us in the sky, and there's waters actually beneath us. And a lot of people don't really realize.
Tell her to get off here. But listen, y'all, listen here. Yeah, you either gonna have to share TV with your brother or with Zaria because her and Jaleel. What? Go in G Mama room. I thought G Mama wanted to listen. Come on, bro. Sure.
Hello, Rita? You still there? I don't know what.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It didn't do it for It said the internet don't want this to come out, but it's got to come out. Okay, so again, firmament as well as the edge of the earth, as
What
well
up?
as beneath the earth. There's a division between them.
Here you go, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I want some. Oh, you
Listen.
really are.
And
Yeah.
somehow in verse 1 it says, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. But it says here that the firmament, and Elohim, because the firmament wasn't created until the second day. But it just said that the heaven wasn't created until the second day.
Yeah. Hold 1 second, bro. Hey, we going through this whole chapter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me. You got work tomorrow?
No, but you could unlock it and I'll come back.
Okay. So, yeah, I will get it tomorrow. You come back tomorrow?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll do it. I got you. You can stay though. Like, you ain't gotta leave, but I'm just I'm just trying to get through.
No, it's fine. Hi, honey. How are you?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, it look nice. But yeah. You could get on this if you want.
Oh yeah, let me do it.
No, we're gonna be on here for like hours. You probably gonna.
Yeah, no.
It's okay.
On Sunday, every Sunday.
Yeah, we try to do this every Sunday.
Yeah, send it to me. I told you to send it to me. I'd rather.
This is new.
Okay. The
But-
Bible study.
Yeah, this is kind of like Bible study.
Okay.
But it's just me and my god brother. I'm like, just send me a picture of it. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, just do it tomorrow because, like I said, I want to get through this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're busy. I get it.
Stop it. Just send me a picture. Thank you for telling. No, she don't want to spend the night, baby. No, you're not. She's not coming back. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I'm back.
You good.
All right.
So real quick, can you read Genesis 1 verse 1 real quick?
Yes. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth.
Okay. Can you read verse 8 real quick?
When God, Elohim called the firmament heaven, and evening of the morning was the second day.
But I thought he created the heavens and the earth the first day.
And what did it say?
You see what I'm saying? This is
Yep,
a
yep.
recreation. That's what I mean. This is a recreation. Because just like when the Bible talks about how there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, no. Because the earth was created to inhabit it. So there's going to be I guess if you want to say a reformation or a purging of the things that bring chaos, the things that bring death, the things that are idols. There's going to be a purging again. But keep going, my bad.
No. And what was the name of the title again?
Back to the Future, The Order of Life.
Got you.
Okay, so we good on this? You keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna go over, definition. So the firmament is H7549. It's Wakia. Tell me I don't sound like a twisted name. Wakia. Extended surface. It's a solid thing, an expanse of firmament. So that's why when they always try to say that they don't went to the moon and this and that, how did they get through a solid thing like the firmament? It's flat as base support. Firmament, a vault of heaven supporting waters above. Considered by Hebrews as solid in supporting waters above. So it's something solid that holds the waters at bay above our heads. Of course, with the Strong's definition, properly an expanse, that is, a firmament or apparently visible arch of the sky, firmament. Where did the waters come from if this is the creation of the world? That was a question that I had posed for people because, what was it in verse? Let me go back. because again, he said the heavens and the earth. Now we know that the heavens are actually composed of water, but it just acted when we were reading it acted like there was like water was just always there.
Yes, ma'am.
Do your stuff up ahead. I ain't seen it.
Yeah. Mama, can a question wait? I'm trying to get through this.
Go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm listening, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, so if the firmament wasn't created and divided and separated until the second day, how was the heaven and the earth created on the first day? Because we were taught that, especially, in the beginning, Elohim, he created the heavens and the earth, which is true. That's why I say in verse 2, something happened to where it fell, and to the point to where there had to be a whirlwind to come in because it became a grave. It became a chaos, a place of idols, a wasteland, a place of misery. And the Most High, with his whirlwind, had to go up on the face of the deeper or the grave or the waters to flood it and to bring order into that place of confusion. So as we keep going, it'll be made more plain. So we're going to go through Genesis verses 9 through 13. Jim, can you read those? I'm going to unmute you and mute myself.
And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Unmute yourself.
No, he said 9 through 13.
No, he's trying to say something.
Yeah, my bad. I had to stop him right there. No, wait. Bam, can you read verse 9 for me one more time?
And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it is so.
Okay, Bam,
Mm-hmm.
he already created the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said there was a flood that was over the whole of the earth. He had to do it. He had to purge it because earth, by definition, is the word erect, which means a firm land. I just wanted you to see that because you'll see what I'm saying in a little bit. All right, my bad. I'm mute myself and you go ahead, Jim.
And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw it was good. Want me to keep going? Okay. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed of his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. That's 13.
Okay, Bam. So the earth didn't even come until the third day. The waters that are on that were flooded, that had flooded the earth, wasn't even separated until the third day. But the heavens and the earth were created in day one. Now, if it happened in day two, well, between verse 1 and verse 2, to make it to where it's a grave, it's a wasteland, to where the Most High had to flood it, and basically had to bring order back into this place of confusion. And what did it talk about? The firmament or the heavens wasn't even created until day 2. But he created the heaven and the earth in day 1.
Yeah.
Are you seeing what I'm saying yet or no?
No. Like I said, man, you be really like, I got what you were saying in the first couple of verses. Yeah, I get it. You know what's interesting to me? Like, I hate that we have to get off subject, but it's interesting to me. You know, the way he laid out 11.
Grass and the herb.
Sorry about that. Sorry,
Children
keep getting
trees.
called. But the way he laid out 11 and 12, you know, how he was saying each herb yielding seed and fruit trees yielding fruit of his kind. And he just kept saying, like, basically, that seed for that fruit, that seed
Right.
for that tree. And
Right.
you know what the world, like, now everything is basically a hybrid. They
Right.
mixing and mashing most seeds together so you won't produce a seed. You know what I mean? Like water, you hardly can find a watermelon with a seed in it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They're making these oranges and these lemons. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these, you know, when we was younger, man, it was every bite you had a seed in something. Every bite.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't get a seed in a fruit hardly nowadays. But I just thought that was like caught my eye.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah. Yes, thank you. I'm with you. So, okay. So, we're doing definitions here. We got to break down definitions to get a better understanding of what the book is saying. So, now when it says Elohim said that the waters, which is Mayim, not this, under the heavens be gathered together.
Get out of
So
here.
that word gathered together is quava. It's H6960 quava. It means to wait, look for, hope, expect. That's why I'm saying there was a destruction, and even the waters were looking and waiting for hope. And
You
in the
froze, brother.
Bible, who froze? Y'all can hear me? Are you serious? Oh, we're getting to some good stuff. Why are we doing that? Y'all can't hear me. Oh. Okay, y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna read verse 9 again because it said, and Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven, under the firmament, be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. So the word for gathered together is quava, H6960. Check out this definition. It means to wait, look for hope, expecting it, expect it, to wait or look eagerly for. Lie in wait for, to wait for, linger, to collect, bind together, to be collected. So that's what I'm saying. There was a major destruction, and Most had to bring order, and even the waters were looking for hope. So the gathering together of the waters was a thing of hope. They were expecting, they were looking and expecting this, right? And the thing about waters is, if you know about the Bible, waters is also a reference to people, to nations and people. Many waters, many different people. So I read that out, and that was it just blew my mind, to be honest. All of the definitions, the way it was linking up, it blew my mind. So if the heaven and the earth were created on the first day, why does the dry land not come until the third day? And we already talked about that. Without form and void means destruction. And since we're going back to that, let's go to Jeremiah 4. And Bam, I need you to read verses 1 through 4 and then 21 through 26. So Jeremiah 4, verses 1 through 4 and 21 through 26.
All right. If thou wilt return, O Israel, said the master, return unto me. And if thou wilt put away thine ambitions out of my sight, abominations, I'm sorry, sure. Thine abominations out of my sight, then shalt thou not remove. And thou shalt swear, the master liveth in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness. And the nations shall bless themselves in him. and in him shall they glory. For thus said the master to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground, and sow not among thorns. Circumcise yourself to the master, and take away the foreskins of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Israel. Jerusalem, sorry. Lest my fury come forth like fire and burn, that none can quench it because of evil of your doings.
Okay.
That none can quench it because of the evil of your doings. And 21 through...
Yeah, start at 20 though. Start at 20. 20 through 26.
All right. Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled, and my curtains in a moment. How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? For my people is foolish; they have not known me. They are sottish.
Yeah, it just means fool. So foolish children.
Oh, okay. They are sottish children. They have no understanding. They have to do evil, do good, have no knowledge.
That's wild. Okay, can you start over from verse 23?
Yeah. I beheld the earth, and lo, it is without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light.
So wait. So Jeremiah is prophesying, to the Israelites, and he said, "I beheld, or I seen the earth, and lo, it is without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light." So keep reading.
I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled. I behold, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the master, and by his fierce anger.
Keep reading.
For thus had the master said, the whole land shall be desolate, yet will I not make a full end. Keep going.
Yeah, one more.
For this shall the earth mourn, and the heavens above be black, because I have spoken it, I have purposed it, and will not repent, neither will I turn back from it.
Now, in verse 23, it says, "I beheld the earth," or the eretz, "and lo, it was without form and void." Same words that we were talking about earlier, bohu, without form, void. It was a wasteland. It was a wasteland. In the heavens, they had no light. Same word, or. They had no light. Daylight. And we know that's order. So if you remember earlier, well, actually, if you read verse 22, this explains why it was void and without form. Verse 22 explains it.
You said, now read what verse again?
Just 22.
Oh, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge.
And we know that the law is our wisdom to the nations. The Israelites had become lawless. They were foolish because they had forgotten the law. They had done violence to the law of the Most High. That's why if you don't know the law, if you don't seek to know the law of the Most High, you don't know him. You're not trying to know him. That's why he said they're Sodom's children. Even in like uh, the first from the very first verse of the chapter, it says, "If thou wilt return, O Israel, saith Yahuwah, return unto me, and if thou wilt put away thine abominations, idols." Because look, that word for idols is quick. It says detestable thing or idol. Now, what we read earlier when it said it was without form, literally said a place of idols. Literally what it said in the definition, a place of idols. So the Israelites, they had started serving other Elohims. They had gotten away from the law of the Most High, and they were worshiping idols. Place of confusion, which makes it a place of misery and a place of death. That's what the Most High proclaimed was going to happen. That's why I'm saying earlier in Genesis, the earth fell to that state even then, and the Most High did what he does. When that happens, the Most High, because he's a righteous judge, he judges the world, judges the earth. And I just wanted to show you that as we keep moving forward, because we're going to try to hurry up and get through this.
Yeah.
You don't believe me? So if everything was created,
Jacob, bring my gizzard and some hot sauce.
The angels created. The Bible doesn't really, it's in Genesis, it doesn't give you a narrative of when the angels were created. So let's go to Job 38.
Yeah. Yes. Go ask your mom. Yeah, bring me that. And tell you, yes, I got to work in the morning. Just bring me that. Hold on, bro. Tisha. What my gizzards? Bring me that.
I'm sending them up by Caleb.
What a hot sauce?
I already sprinkled hot sauce on them.
What you doing?
You want this chicken too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted both of them. Okay, then that's all I was
It's all right. I'll just use it. Sorry, I gotta get my food.
So I'm just gonna read Job 38 verses 4 and 5, and then verse 7. I'll just read
Job 38.
Yeah, Job 38. I'm gonna read 4 through verse 7. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of Elohim shouted for joy, or who shut up the sea with doors, when it brake forth as it had issued out of the womb. So in verse 7, it literally talks about the morning stars. Now, the morning stars, or it says of Messiah, brothers, youth, progeny, personification, Elohim's omniscience. But we know that is and all the sons of Elohim, the angels. So Genesis doesn't even give us an account of when the angels were created. That's what I'm saying. This is a recreation, a redo of it. So real quick, let's go to Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. And let's read verses 12 through 19. When you get it, Bam, go ahead. Or if you're eating, I'll go ahead and read it.
All right. You go ahead, though. I ain't gonna think that's after this one.
You what? Okay. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, Thou fillest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardis, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth and I have set thee so thou wast upon the holy mountain of Elohim. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of Elohim, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee down. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Now let's go to, because I'm just showing you about different accounts of angels, even though there were men likened to certain types of angels or sons of Elohim. Let's go to Isaiah 14, and let's just read verses 12 through 14.
All right.
Okay, it says, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, the Samaim. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Jude 6. It's just Jude 1, verse 6. That's all. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of that great day, of the great day. 2 Peter 2, verse 4. For if Elohim spared not the angels or Malachs that sinned, but cast them down to Sheol, or Tartarus on that one, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Luke 10 and verse 18. Let's read this wrong. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Because again, it doesn't tell us when the angels were created in Genesis. So Revelation 12, verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and it cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered or to devour her child as soon as it was born. It's one of the different accounts of that angels actually existing, but the Bible not really giving us an account, or at least not in Genesis. So, Jim, can you read Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19, so we can try to finish this up? I'm going to mute myself.
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Did you unmute yourself?
Okay, so bam. This is why I'm gonna keep saying this is why this is a recreation. So now we see through verses 14 and 19, the Most High through Yahusha created the light, the one that governs the ones that govern the day, and the one that governs the day and the ones that govern the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read verse 3 for me?
And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
And verse 4.
And Elohim saw the light,
And 5.
and Elohim called the light day. Or you want me to read all of it?
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, just
Oh,
4 and 5.
all right. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning was the first day.
What's the first day? Now, I'm going to read 14 through 19 again real quickly. And Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the night from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth. And can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
And the evening and the morning, were the fourth day. So how does the Most High create light in day one, but then it says that He didn't create light until the fourth day? Why you shaking your head? I don't know what that means though.
No, I'm agreeing. Now, me personally,
Yeah.
like I said, it's just me, because you know the word light, right? If you say we know the Messiah is the light of the world.
Yeah.
So once again, it didn't say he created the light, so to speak, but he basically placed it, right? Because he spoke it and things, things was things. Like after he spoke, the word said, or the Most High said, and boom, it was that, right? And now, but
Yeah, read 14.
What I'm saying is, in what verse was that? In verse
14.
3, he just said, "Let there be light," right?
Mm-hmm.
And then down in 6 is when the firmament was placed.
But you can't say that. You can't say that about verse 3 without reading verse 4.
No, I'm just giving an example of light in the firmament, because in verse 14, he was placing light into the firmament. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Light was here, verse 3. The firmament came, verse 6. 14, right. He put them together. That's what I'm getting out of it.
Because even in verse 3, when Elohim said, "Let there be light," I don't right now, after reading all this, light of day, it says like, yeah, light, luminaries, light up the lamp. I believe he's saying let there be order. Because again, the law is the light.
Mm-hmm.
So in even in this one, in 14 is when he's actually creating the sun and the moon and this and that. But that's what I'm saying. When the Most High creates something, he creates it in order. Something happened in verse 2, all order was lost, to where his spirit had to move upon, fled the deep, the abyss, the grave, yada, yada, yada. Because he's just not an Elohim of confusion. And let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. He already did that. He already divided the day and the night. It was already done in Genesis, was that verse 4. And Elohim divided the night from the light from the darkness. That's light and day. Elohim called the light day. And he had already done that by verse 5. You see what I'm saying? So,
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I brought up verse 6 about the firmament. Like, true. Like you said. So, what I think is going on is, like, honestly, if it looks like this is out, like these races are out of play to me, or it's some misinformation. Like, it's information that we don't have right now. You know what I mean? Like you said, because it's a big gap in between 1 and 2. Like, what happened between 1 and 2?
Yeah, there is a huge gap between 1 and 2.
And so, and then once you get to reading 1 through, we're just gonna say 1 through 6, right? Well, we're gonna go 1 through. We're gonna just say 1 through 10. You know what I mean? So once you read 1 through 10, and then like you said, you come and read 14. For the most part, our understanding, most of this stuff already happened that was in 14 through 1 and 10.
Exactly.
Or at least between 3 and 6, for sure. So I don't know if it's just the way they documented this. Like I said, I still feel like it's missing information. And I think that's what the books like Enoch and Jubilees and Jasher, like they will fulfill a lot of those holes that's in Genesis. But
yeah, because there's a lot missing in Genesis. Just like in the whole book of Genesis, there's a lot of blank spaces in there.
Yeah, but I never, you know what I mean? You know, of course, over the years, you heard preachers preach over Genesis and the creation, but like nobody dug deep enough to see this, because I never noticed that. Like 1 and 2, like you said, the earth is already here, you know, the heavens here, and then to bring up like the earth is like the word like was and without form and void, and to bring up all this stuff like chaos and darkness and the depth being the grave, you know what I mean? And like you said, the waters is two those are 2 different definitions, I think.
Yep. One was Mayim, and what was the other one? The word for deep, what was that? Rakia? I think it was Rakia.
But yeah, man, just but yeah, so we let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let the signs. Let's see. Oh, okay, 14. So 14 is well, never mind. I was gonna say 14. I was thinking 14 was the stars, but in 19 he was like he made the stars also. So that was after he created all this.
Yep.
But like I said, so we know the firmament is the place above us, right? It's
Right.
between heaven and earth. And it
Right.
said, it said, let there be lights in the firmament. So he didn't put like I said, the lights wasn't in the firmament at first. Like I said, because I had to reread that, so to speak.
You talking about in verse 3, and Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light,
Yeah.
and Elohim saw the light that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he
Like
called
it's
night.
nice.
And the evening, morning, were the first day. So if they weren't in the firmament, where was the light at?
If they wasn't in the firmament.
Right.
Because the firmament didn't exist right at the time.
But he had already created the heaven and the earth. He created that in verse 1.
Yes.
The firmament is in heaven.
No, but okay, so verse 1, like you said, so we know something went down between verse 1 and 1-2, right? So now we're at 6. Like I said, so all this happened between 2 and 6. Now he's making the firmament. So the firmament, like he said, divides the waters from the waters. At that point in time. Now, true. Who's to say? We already know he created the heaven and earth. Who's to say he had the heaven and earth and they was running together? That's how angels was able to come down. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, boom. He's seen that happen. Like you said, it was chaos. He got to recreate this thing. So he got the, so to speak, because it said it was without form. So he got the outline. We're going to say the outline per se. Because I'm just going to look at it like as a physical, because we don't, ultimately, we don't know what the Most High did and how he did it. You know what I mean? We just know. So we're going to take it as a blueprint perspective. So in the blueprint, first thing you have to do, then you got to outline it. You know what I mean? I said the foundation of this thing. So now he got the foundation of the earth, or the outline of this earth. So now he's recreating the things that he probably didn't have at first, like the firmament. He didn't have a separation between heaven and earth. I'm assuming.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, like I said, that's how I'm looking at it. And another thing is when they build the Tower of Babel.
Yep.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it was something that was like, so boom, like, nah, y'all doing too much.
Yeah, but that's not. It's not a literal tower. It's not what you think, though. I'm doing research into that right now. It's not what you think. It's not a literal tower.
It was. I call it the stairway to heaven. That's what I call it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could call it that, but it was a gateway, because all the way in different parts of this world, this earth, there's portals everywhere. Now, we've been dumbed down to the point to where we don't believe in portals. We don't believe that there's gateways. That's why there's TV shows like Stargate SG-1. And everywhere they go, they have to go through a portal. This isn't that. Like, there are literal portals. I don't believe that the Tower of Babel was a little tower to heaven, because they still couldn't make it there, because there's still a firmament between the heaven and the earth. And back then, they had a better connection with the different Elohims, including the Most High Elohim that we have now, because they weren't getting poisoned and taught this pseudo history and pseudo information like we get taught. So you'll see, yeah, because that Tower of Babel, like, that got me for a while, and then after reading Genesis 1, like, wait, there's a firmament. So even if they built one into heaven, they still couldn't get to the firmament. So there was a way, because you got to remember, like, in the time of Babylon, it was a time of confusion. It was just like America or the world now. All these races of people are mixing together, and all these religions are mixing together, and all these gods are mixing together. And so with the worship of all these different gods, that's what angers the Most High. That's why the Most High had to separate people. And that's why he had to, do the confusing of the languages and this and that, because there's certain things he didn't want us to do. Because we don't have no reason trying to get to heaven before it's or trying to get to our place of rest before it's our time. But man trying to play God or Elohim and trying to become Elohim is the reason why all this bad stuff happens. And that's the reason why we don't know anything anymore. Like we literally have to unlearn everything we learned. Like I'm doing research into the old school names of the gods and this and that, because the Greeks and the Romans weren't the only ones to have pantheons of gods. So did the Canaanites. So did the Babylonians. Like this stuff is not new.
So they
Man.
wasn't the only one to have what?
A pantheon or a council of many gods. It's like what are we taught in Christianity? We're taught that there's only one God. That is a bold-faced lie. It's a lie. There's one. That's why he's called the Most High. There's not one Elohim, because the angels can't die either. So by definition, they're not of this earth. So by definition, they're extraterrestrials or aliens, and they can't die, so they're immortal, so they're a god. And then the Most High has given them different powers or abilities. That's why they're the god of thunder, the god of war, the god of sex and fertility. The Most High created them. But again, in Christianity, we're taught that there's only one God. That's not true. That's not even biblical. It's not even biblical, man. At all. My bad. I didn't mean to go on that rant. I don't know where that came from.
No, that makes sense.
We're taught a whole bunch of stuff there. Matter of fact, I think that's what we might go over next week. God, Elohim versus the gods. I haven't done enough research yet. Maybe not. So just to try to speed this along. So from 14 to 19, the word light is ma'or, light, luminary. Is that a different word for light than what was used earlier? Hold on. That is a different word. So in verse 2, the word for light is or, O-R.
Uh-huh.
Well, the one in verse 14, the word for light is ma'or. It means light or luminary. That's weird. But the original is still or. So I guess we'll just leave that alone. So it means light or luminary. So they just didn't take it all the way back to the original word. This light was made on the first day, while the lights being created on the fourth day. We talked about that already. That's why I said in Genesis was at verse 3 when it says Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. What is the light?
Mm-hmm.
So Proverbs 6:23 says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." Romans 7:12 and 14. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, just, and good. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am called so to understand. Isaiah 80:20. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And making it to light. One of my favorite scriptures, Psalms 119 and 142. Righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and the law is the truth. John 14 and verse 6. Yahushua saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me. John 1, verses 1 through 5. Let me go there real quick. Verses 1 through 5.
What chapter?
John 1, just the first 5 verses.
So John 1, not First John, right?
Yeah, John 1. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Jim, you want to read that? Hold on, I'm about to mute myself and unmute.
You ready? All right. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. Same was in the beginning with Elohim. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life. The life was the light of men, and the light shineth in darkness. The darkness comprehended it not. That's 1 through 5.
Thank you, sir. So we see that again, Yahushua, the word of the Most High, is the light. It's the light of men also. Okay, I didn't know that. Let me go back to this, so I just wanted to show y'all those things. I'm going to go to Baruch. I got to Google this. No, I got to answer that. Baruch 4, and I'm going to read verse 1. Okay. This is the book of the commandments of Elohim, and the law that endure forever. And they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. I'm going to go to Ecclesiasticus 17, verse 11.
That's in the Apocrypha, right?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, buddy. Ecclesiasticus
Hold on,
17.
I want to go there with you.
Okay.
Now, what verse?
11. It just says, beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance. Because you see how it says the law of life? So the law is life, and it's life to us as well. And then I'll just go, what's it, 2 Corinthians 14 or 4 and verse 6, my bad. Verse 6. Therefore, we are always confident knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from. Did I go to the right one? No, I went to 5. I was on it. 4.
Where's that? Ecclesiastes 11?
Yeah, I already read that one. Ecclesiastes 17 and verse 11.
Oh, 17 and 11. Okay. Now, where you at right now?
I'm in 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 6. For Elohim, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, have shined in our hearts, to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Elohim in the face of Yahushua Hamashiach. So again, the light that he talked about in the beginning, that's just Yahushua. That's what it is. Let there be light. Let there be order. Let there be instruction. Let there be judgment. Let there be justice. That was the light from the beginning. Okay, so we can try to finish this. So let's go back to Genesis 1. Let's just read verses 20 through 23 so we can try to finish this up. And I'll read this real quick. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And Elohim created the great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was told. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to read 24 and 25 as well. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, and cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was told. Oh man. Genesis 26 to 28. And Elohim said, Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created he, man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him, male and female created he them. And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said unto them, be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living creature that moveth upon the earth. So we know God is Elohim, H430. I don't think we need to go over that again. And it does include angels as well. And we jump to Isaiah 46, read verses 8 through 10. Isaiah 46. Probably my favorite book. What'd you say? Isaiah 46, verses 8 through 10. Remember this, and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Elohim, and there is none else. I am Elohim, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do my pleasure. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know when this new heaven and new earth is, reformed or recreated, it's going to be a great destruction. It's going to be light or order or the law through Yahushua. Is going to bring us out of this confusion that we deal with in this world. Because he tells us the end from the beginning. 1 Samuel 15, verse 22. And Samuel said, hath Yahuwah as great
See
delight.
that on verse 9, that first when it said I am God.
Yeah,
It was,
go ahead.
but yeah, the first one was Strong's H410. And you see that, and then the second one is yeah, and then the second one is 430.
Yeah, because that's plural. So he said, for I am El. So letting us know he's the Most High, and there's none like me. I am Elohim, and there is none like me. And that means plural. Because we also got to remember that in the beginning, or even because John, first chapter, just talked about how Yahushua was with the Most High even then. Because Yahushua, he's also the image of the invisible Elohim as well. But I mean, yeah, you're right though. That is a subtle difference in Isaiah 46. That's a really good catch. I was just trying to read it there.
Yeah, because I want to get it because I know I say Elohim and whatnot, but that's why I don't want to say Elohim. If it's like Elohim, because I was looking at Elohim. Elohim is like angels and what was the word? Elohim. Just Elohim means basically like a ruler, a judge, like.
Well, and Elohim can mean the supreme Elohim as well. If you're gonna say, even if you're gonna say El, if you're gonna say El, either say El Shaddai or El Elyon. Elohim is plural though. It's like a lot of times I'll be like, Yahuwah, you're my Elohim. But yeah, if you're gonna say El, you might as well say El Shaddai or El Elyon. That's what he was known back then. His name wasn't known until Exodus, I think it's chapter 6. They didn't know his name until then. Somewhere early in Exodus. They didn't know his, I guess you say his function as a name then. They just knew El. Yeah, that's a good catch, man. Somebody be paying attention. Okay. 1 Samuel 15, verse 22. And Samuel said, hath Yahuwah as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obedience, as in obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and adultery. because thou hast rejected the word of Yahuwah, he also rejected thee from being king. Talking about the first king of Israel, Saul. Psalms 40, verses 6 through 8. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire, mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my El, said I. Yea, thy law is within my heart. Because from the beginning, like we're always told that the law only came 430 years later after the promise to Abraham. But the Most High has always had a law because he doesn't change. He may not give us all the portions of it then, but in heaven, his ways were found from the beginning, from the foundation of him creating everything. That's why, again, when in Genesis 1, verse 3, when it says, and Elohim said, let there be light, he was talking about his law, his Torah, his instruction, his order. Because he had to bring order after verse 2, because I still don't know exactly what happened. I know it was some type of flood, though. Some type of flood. And I guess we'll end it there because everything else is pretty much self-explanatory from Genesis. It was just those first few ones from Genesis 1 really makes you think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know
was
that was a little confusing, but did that make at least a little sense to you?
no, it made a whole lot of sense. You know what I mean? But my thing is, I know what. Not saying you want to lead. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But like I said, like I told you, I want to know for sure. Me personally, like I don't want no. Oh, it could be this. You know what I mean? Because could be the damnation of your soul. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right.
So, but like I said, it was all adding up. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that this translation, and that's why I gotta. Like, I'm gonna have to start studying this on my own, this Hebrew language, because the translation is so. Like I said, from my understanding, what I was told, when you read it in the Hebrew, when you dissect it in the Hebrew language, and you translate it yourself, those words mean one thing.
Right.
Like it's not gonna be, it's like we're gonna say, just even like God, for instance, like Elohim. It's not gonna be like, okay, Elohim is rulers, Elohim is divine ones, Elohim's angels, gods, and then it says true God, like towards the bottom of it. Like you're gonna know specifically who they're talking about when they're speaking about the angels, when they're speaking about the light meaning Yeshua, or the light meaning something to shine. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, the way it's translated, because for the most part, like I said, even though it might be similar, but that one meaning could mess up the whole scripture or rectify that whole scripture.
Right, because context also changes what things mean in Hebrew as well. Like what I don't know that exact terminology that they would use for it. But context matters too, so that's what I'm saying. Like there's no way the Most High created light in verse 3, and then all of a sudden it's just a lot of stuff. When I read that, and then I'd actually looked into some other people's teachings on it, and it was basically what I was seeing from it as well. I was like, okay, I'm not the only one seeing this.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot different than what we normally taught, because we're taught a lot of hogwash, to put it bluntly. But we got to read on our own.
Oh yeah. And see, that's why. See, that's the thing. Like, if it's sickening, bro, because even though, like you said, even though reading this on your own, there is no way, no one outside of the Holy Spirit, you know what I mean? But nobody could have done it, you know what I mean? Within those two verses, been like, hey, what happened? Nobody. Like that's spirit led. You know what I mean?
It don't make no sense, bro. I mean, it makes sense. It's just you got to actually be, again, like, you got to actually be wanting to see what's actually in the book, bro. Because if you're just reading just to read it, just to say, yeah, I read this, I read that, you ain't gonna see nothing.
And see, and while you were saying it, it came in my mind. Seek and you shall find. You reading the word, ain't you seeking the word?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you gotta be looking for something in this word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy you said that because I never thought of that like until you just brought that up.
Yep. Can't just read it to read it. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're trying, I mean, you gotta start where you're at. But
Yeah.
you're just
You
reading.
gotta start.
There's some people that just read when people are around, or just to say that they read this or read that. If that's what you're doing, then you really don't understand the they gotta get to the point to where the word, or the words on the pages come off the page and basically become a way of life to you. It is a transition, especially depending on your environment and the detractors and the distractions and the inhibitors, because the Bible talks about how your enemies are going to be the ones from your own family. They're going to try to keep you from getting into the truth, getting the law of life, and we just got to stand firm on that, because we become the light to them, or we become a lesser light of the Most High, and we will shine on them. And then, with us praying and living that way, Most High is going to create the change, or He's going to utterly reject them. Because when we are doing it, and we're going through these changes, we actually become a judgment to them. Especially when they keep trying to try us, which the Most High He allows us to be tried, but at the same time, it comes to a point when trials have to end, and when people can't discern or see that, okay, I don't need to try them anymore. Either I need to leave them alone, or I need to conform. Then that judgment is brought to them more speedily. It'll get to the point to where it may be you have to literally pray for them for the Most High to get His anger off of them, because you're the one being upright and being just. It's not an easy thing to do nowadays when your family's against it, your loved one, your spouse, your friends are against it. They don't understand the changes that you're making, and you're doing your best not to hurt their feelings. And it's going to get to the point to where you're going to have to, like, look, I got nothing but love for you, but I don't eat pork. I don't go to church on Sunday. God is not God. He has a name. God is a title. It's a pagan title, even at that. And I try my best not to even get around people, because you got to stick up respect, for you don't know where people are at. And when you've given people this information more than one time, and they just keep refusing to do certain things, and at least look it up. Don't just be like, I'm telling you this for no reason. I'm telling you this in vain. No, because I've done research into this. And we both know our parents will do that to us.
Dude, the main ones, and that's what gets me.
Yeah.
It gets me, like, almost fight mad, boy.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, like, sometimes I'll just have to, like, either hang up the phone or just leave, like, I'm just going to move around. They never love me. Trust me, like, but just probably like your parents too. My parents have a love for the Most High, and I know it's genuine. But like the sister said, it's not according to knowledge. It's not according, like, I've seen them pray over people and spirits leave them, or people have gotten healed behind the prayer, saved their life. Like, I know the witnesses that they have, and especially now in their twilight, of their life, when the Most High is putting stuff in us, and we're showing them, and we're trying, and then they just kind of just, you're a babe in this. Well, yeah, only a babe can enter into the kingdom, though. If you don't come through Yahushua into the Most High as a babe, as a child, you won't make it into the kingdom. And a lot of times, as elders, they lose sight of that. So,
Wow. I was just thinking of something. Boom. Now, you know how we hit, we was talking about the form. Like, at first the earth is firm, but like it was without form. It's just like you said, them parents, these elders, even us, we've been here for a while now.
Right.
But in order to enter into the kingdom, we have to be able to be formed. Because a child, that's what you do to a child. You have to form them. You have to raise them up in the way they should go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what
So
you're
yeah,
saying is just like the earth became without form and void, so
Yeah,
can people and
yeah,
doctrine.
of course, of
So
course.
mm, I get it. I get what you said.
But it's just
Even
amazing.
hold on, and even June can attest because June be trying to tell his mama, certain things, and they just don't wanna. They just don't wanna. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. They just,
They just don't want to, and uh, like not to downplay or talk bad about nobody, because all our parents doing the same thing for the most part.
yeah.
They don't want to listen. They older. They feel like they know it. So it's just cause like I know I was talking to my mom the other day. It's like every time we talk about it, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like, why not? You know? Hold on 1 second. What are the keys? But yeah. Go sit down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
But yeah, they don't want to hear it. No. What? I'm on the phone, baby. You got to wait. Wait. Whatever it is, wait. But yeah, so huh? You going outside? But yeah, it's just
Mm. Ah, it's
clock. You still got a little sunshine out here. Not sunshine, but it's the sky still blue a little bit.
I'm like it's just to be honest, it's more than frustrating. Like
It's crazy, huh?
it's disheartening to me sometimes because I'll say certain things and then back it up with scripture, and even I'll show them where things got changed through. I'll just call them the professors or whatever. They changed it. They changed things and mixed things into I guess you say doctrine that should have never been there. The pagan. And then, I'm not gonna say everything I say that they're defensive about, but some things is just like, it's like there's just no slack, even if literally you can show them verbatim, in fact, that the Roman Catholic Church changed the Sabbath to Sunday. Like that's a fact. It's not anywhere in the Bible.
Hello?
There's nowhere in the Bible where it tells you. Which, if you want to go and worship the Most High on a Sunday, nobody's saying that you can't do that. But Genesis literally tells you in Genesis chapter 2 that he sanctified, he hallowed, he blessed the seventh day. And if he does that, who can overturn that? It's just little things. I'm like, wow. So y'all know what day it's supposed to be, but it's just because the world says it's more convenient to come on the first day of the week than the seventh, and that's what we're going to do. I don't know, man. That irks me. So. Who just muted me?
you probably muted yourself.
Nah, bro. So y'all didn't hear nothing I just said, did y'all?
Yeah, I heard everything. You wasn't muted.
Bro, this thing is tripping because now it says that you're muted. And now Bam is muted. What is going on?
Bam probably muted himself.
No, now he's not muted, but now you're muted. This thing's been tripping this whole time though, but
I only unmute myself when I'm getting ready to say something.
well, I never muted myself on this one. But
Well, that's because we be echoing when on Bam's whatever device he's using.
yeah, you see, Bam a sucker, but it's all good. But did that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, it made sense.
Bam. Sorry, dude. So again, I want to say, y'all's assembly, Hot Talk Volume 2, or Episode 2. If there's anybody in the Muskogee, Oklahoma area that needs food, food, we have a small outreach, and we have a lot of milk. We have a lot of different food for our raw vegetables, and some different types of food that we were able to get from some schools that the stuff was going to go bad. So if you are in the Muskogee, Oklahoma area, you can reach me at YAH'S Assembly777 at gmail.com or at YAH'S Assembly777 at yahoo.com. In worst case scenario, if I don't respond to that, you can reach me at Emmanuel Griffin 22 at yahoo.com. That's EMMANUEL GRIFFIN 22 at yahoo.com. So we're definitely trying to help as many people as we can. We try to do these hot talks on Sundays and get them uploaded as fast as I can. If anybody wants to try, Community Awakening, wants to try and link up with us, we do Shabbats on Shabbat at about 7. And to get that personal information, where we actually meet up at, email me on one of those emails, and then I'll get that information to you as well. We're starting up, and we're looking for Miss Paca family. So I want to thank y'all for joining in. I got nothing but love for y'all. I want to say shalom to everybody, and wish everyone a haba of the Most High Yah, and traditions of men, back to the future, the order of life. All right, y'all. I'm out of here.